You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure. Smash that like button.
Yeah.
LSU's wrapped up fall camp. All attention turned now to the UCLA Bruins September 4th in the Rose Bowl. Former Tiger quarterback Matt Flynn, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, Matt?
Doing fantastic. Always great to chat with you. How much does I want to sort of tap into your experience being a guy that waited your turn, got your chance to start, but did play earlier in your career. I'm curious how much you think Max Johnson kind of dipping his toe in the water last year helps him this year.
I mean, that's the one thing you can't ever prepare for. I know his dad played in the NFL. He probably had more football teaching and more football into colleges as anybody in the country. But the one thing you can't ever prep for is experience. And any experience you get, whether it's practice reps with the first team, whether it's game reps, scrimmage, whatever it is, everything's valuable. It just so happens that game reps are 50 times more valuable than anything you can get. What he did last year was just so impressive, and you see it across the country with a lot of kids that just have this incredible mental makeup that they can step into the swamp or step into these intimidating environments, 3 or 4 months removed from their senior high school proms and play good football and play well enough to where the game can slow down for you. If you would have made me play as a true freshman, I would have probably been booed out of the state. It's just one of these things where it's incredible that, you see these guys have success. So all that helps. It's extremely helpful. I'd like to see, as well as he did last year, I'd like to see improvement this year with getting through his progressions, getting through his reads. I mean, he's athletic. So as a freshman getting thrown in there, that athleticism helps you because the game's pretty fast. So you can go 1 read, 2 reads, and then use your feet some. I'd like to see some improvement this year, especially in this first game of getting 1, 2, 3 check down, getting through his reads quick, and instead of using his legs, use them when you need them, but don't hold them for crutch.
Yeah, I love whenever we talk that we can kind of nerd out a little bit because you do see so much more when you watch a game than we do. That was a really good example of it. But let me pose this to you, Matt. One of the I don't want to say criticism, but observation, I guess, was Max didn't really push the ball down the field much last year. Did you see that? Was that by design? Is that something that comes with time? What do you make of that, of maybe the opportunity to stretch the field with Max as the quarterback?
Yeah, it's I don't think you're ever going to look at Max and say, man, this is one of these big armed guys, that gets out. But there's you don't have to be that. You be accurate, make good decision making. But I think it comes stretching the field, pushing the ball down the field. It comes with confidence and it comes with repetition. He's not a gunslinger mentality, so I don't think he's got he certainly doesn't have the mindset of you got to throw picks to throw touchdowns. I mean, some people have that just innately. They can step in there as a freshman and just start slinging it down the field. He's not that type of guy. He wants to be confident in his reads, confident in the progressions, confident that he knows. You saw it last night in the big post pass from Jameis Winston. Max probably doesn't pull that trigger last year because he sees the cutting backside safety after he passed it off to the free safety, or the backside corner, excuse me, when he passed it off to the free safety. That's a hard thing to see, and so if you're not confident in things like that, you're probably not going to pull the trigger. So it's just confidence, and I would expect to see it. But he's very short, intermediate passes. I see that he's very accurate, and we'll just jury's out, I guess, on the deeper stuff.
Matt Flynn is our guest, of course, founder, CEO of My High, and then also we're going to talk about Matt's charity event he's got coming up with Heritage Ranch, which we're always happy to promote every year. You also had a very similar situation, like from 06 to 07, right? You go into 06, and you're in a competition for the starting job. You won the bowl game in 05, played great at the end of the season. Now you're in a competition. 07, there was no debate. I mean, you were the guy. So walk through, if you would, Matt, that dynamic for Max this year where he thought he was coming into camp competing with Miles, and then all of a sudden, unfortunately, Miles is hurt. And so now he knows he's the guy. How different is it in camp for Max now, knowing he's the guy, as opposed to if he was here trying to compete for that job?
Yeah, so just from my experience, you say like game experience is so critical, but as a quarterback, knowing you're the guy is, to me, is so important, not just for you, but for the rest of the unit, the whole offense. And I think that he's going to be a better player because now he knows that he's the guy at his top. I mean, when I was in 2005, I knew for a whole month that I was going to be starting in the Peach Bowl. So that allowed me to prep like that. That allowed me to be, more assertive, more naturally assertive in the huddle rather than, I don't want to say fake, but like, this ultra enthusiasm because you're trying to like make everybody believe you're the starter. You're trying to make, in competitions, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the first in the line. I'm going to yell the loudest. I'm going to do this, do that. But like when you know you're the guy, it's just like quiet confidence can kind of, just kind of exude out of you, and it's just one of those things where if you know you're the guy, you're not looking over your shoulder. You're just trying to improve. You try to get the game plan down. You're studying on the defense. You're studying the defense when you're watching film and not studying whose, 5-step drop out route was better, mine or Miles. It's a difference. And, there's all sorts of different schools of thought. You see it all over the place. You see it in the NFL with the Saints. You saw it at the beginning of the training camp with LSU. Quarterback battles are so necessary, but I'm never been a fan of dragging them on to, the week before a game. I think they, for the sake of the quarterback, think for the offense, offensive line, they don't like to hear two different hard count snaps from two different voices, two different, inflections, two different styles. They don't want to hear, like I said, two hard counts because they're going to jump off sides more. They want to hear the same guy every snap, the same guy in the huddle. So I think it's going to lead to I think it's so much better for whoever that starter was going to be at the beginning, Miles or Max. Now, of course, it's Max, but it's just so important, I think, for that confidence. So I think you'll see it.
Do you make what do you make of Garett Nussmeier's big stats that he's had in these two scrimmages?
I don't think you know me well enough that I don't make.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, stats in scrimmages to me are they're worthless in my opinion. There's just so many different variables. Twos versus twos, ones versus ones. How many offensive linemen are out? Which plays got called against the right time against which deep? I mean, there's just so many things that go into it. That's why. A quarterback, one game stats doesn't have anything to do with you need to look at the body of work, right? But I will tell you, just from watching him, he's got some juice to him. I mean, he spins the ball well. He's got really good arm talent. He's kind of like when I saw Miles when he was a freshman play and practice and scrimmage a few times. He can make throws. I'm not comparing the two stylistically. I'm just saying he makes throws that you can't coach kids to pull that trigger at that age. Like he can see body position, body language to defend. Like he pulls the trigger on some balls that are like, man, that was a good throw, but it was an even better decision to make the throw. He just got stuff that it's hard to teach. And I think he is kind of like that. People call him kind of like that gunslinger, but in this day and age, if you start out with that gunslinger mentality, get into a new offense that's very disciplined, those two elements can mesh really well.
Matt, I want to ask one more football question. I do want to ask about Miles Brennan because people often compare him to you as a guy that patiently waited. It obviously worked out for you winning a national championship. Many had that hope and expectation for Miles. I think that becomes much more difficult now. When you sort of assess that situation, what do you think when you sort of see where Miles is now and what the path may be?
Yeah, it's man, my heart broke for him when he got hurt again at the beginning of camp. You talk about such a good kid, great story, a guy that just wanted so bad to make it happen here at LSU. Loves the school, loves everything. He just did all the right things, right? And just for whatever reason, bad luck kept striking him. And like you said, it's going to be so difficult for him because we all expect Max to play well, and you're not going to, even when Miles comes back, you can't. I mean, you're not going to replace someone that's playing well, and it just makes it, you never know. Everybody's always one play. You just never know what's going to happen, so it's hard to make any predictions. But like, if everything goes well with, like we think it is with Max and the team this year, I mean, it's just nearly impossible. But college football these days, there's not that many scholarship quarterbacks on a roster anymore. So you just, where does that lead? Does he play another year? Does he play somewhere? I don't know. I hope him success and whatever he does. I hope he gets the chance to play football. And I hope he gets a chance to play healthy football.
Well said. Matt Flynn, of course, former Tiger quarterback, founder, CEO of MyHigh. Drink MyHigh. That's MYHY. DrinkMyHigh.com for more info. But, Matt, we always have you on around this time of year to promote what you do with Heritage Ranch, which is such an awesome organization, man. So I know there's some changes to the golf tournament this year, but if you would just start with a few details on what Heritage Ranch is and why you're involved.
Yeah, so I got involved, I believe, 4 years ago. And like a lot of people that I've talked to before that, I didn't really know what the Heritage Ranch was because there's not a lot of, we don't put a lot of marketing into it. But when I started diving into what it was, I got just, fully vested. My wife and I, it means a lot to us. I believe it's 52 acres. There's their ranch in Zachary, and basically they take in boys ages 10 through 18. They take boys that are in some sort of crisis, whether it's a family crisis, social, what mental crisis, whatever it is, and it's a Christian home, and they take them in, counsel, give them all sorts of support. And the really cool thing about it is they don't take any kids in without their the family's full support. So they take them in, they live there, but with the goal of reunifying them with their family at the end. And there's a lot of great big organizations all over the country that do great work, but this one, Heritage Ranch, is truly a local organization helping kids in Baton Rouge. And like I said, boys 10 to 18 years old, which is, as we all know, is such a crucial time in somebody's life. So if you're going through a crisis in that age, it could have huge negative effects on you going forward. So it's just an awesome organization. The golf tournament is incredible. Nikki Ellis and the crew over there. I'm an avid golfer. I love golf, and this is literally one of the best golf tournaments I've ever been involved with, just from the food, the vendors, the drinks. I mean, just everything is first class. And this year it is Tuesday, October 5th. Through COVID, we moved it from the spring to the fall, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise because we get the great fall weather middle of the week, so you don't have to miss any games or anything. So it's October 5th, and it's at Copper Mill this year. We moved it, and we changed the format to a 3-man scramble this year,
cool.
Which is going to be fun, a little bit different than your normal scramble. So 3-man scramble. Got to have a lot of good players there, a lot of good gifts and raffles and all sorts of stuff.
I see at the website you can register your team, and there's a spot. Are there still? Do you know if there's still sponsorships available or not?
I don't know. I think there are some spots available in the tournament. I'm not sure about sponsorship.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm asking, and I know that's not a question for you, but I didn't know if you know off the top. So it's is it heritageranch.org? I'm here at the website, but
hrbr.org.
There it is. I had it full screen, and so I didn't see the URL, but it's hrbr.org. It's in Heritage Ranch, Baton Rouge. hrbr.org. And if you go to the events tab, you'll see the Matt Flynn Golf Invitational, or the Matt Flynn Golf Open there on the drop-down, and that's where you get all the info where you can register. It's a great organization. Again, it's October the 5th. That's a Tuesday, noon, shotgun start at Copper Mill right there in Zachary. Convenient. Matt will be out there. There's always a lot of former Tigers out there as well. So, I mean, if you want to go hang out with actual celebrities that people care to see, guys like Matt Flynn will be out there. So, and you're supporting a great organization too. So great work as always, man. We appreciate some time whenever you can give it, and we'll certainly push them your way for the golf tournament.
Yeah, sounds good. And I encourage everybody, if you're not a golfer, if you don't want to, just go to the website. Just look at what this organization's doing in the Baton Rouge area. Educate yourself. It's tremendous what they're doing. And any donations, anything that sponsorships, anything that you can give, it's going to just building more and more homes where they can service more and more people and help with that many more crises. So just visit it.
Well said. HRBR.org. HRBR.org for the website. He's Matt Flynn. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, man.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.